The ailerons are aware up here in Corner Canyon, but for something a little different this time. I am test riding the YT Capra. This is CF Pro. CF is carbon fiber, so the frame's carbon fiber. And this is the Pro. So we'll start on the front. There's a race face, that's a turbine. I think it's turbine R handlebar. Not familiar with the stem. I think it might be I think it's also a race face stem. This is the fork. There's a RockShox Lyric. And then E13 wheels, both front and back. E13 G1 tires, both front and back. This is the first time I've ever ridden a bike with any E13 components. So this is new for me. Got SRAM code RS brakes. And the shock, it's a RockShox Super Deluxe. And it's a GX Eagle drivetrain, it's a 1x12. And a E13 dropper. And it's not a huge fan of it so far. I don't know if it's broken, I've never used an E13 dropper before. But so far when I go down, you have to go all the way down before you can come back up and have it stop at intervals. It only goes from here all the way down, then you can go different points coming up. Not a big fan of that. I don't know if it's broken or not, or that's just the way E13s are. If you want a closer look at the SRAM brakes. So far I've only been climbing on this bike, and I have to admit I'm not a huge fan of the climbing. It's not an efficient climber. I've been testing out locking out the shock, having it open or closed, and either way the back end bobs a lot, and it's actually kind of making it hard to climb. I'm not a huge fan of the climbing, but I have yet to do the downhill part, so gonna climb up the rest of the way. So the top of the rush trail is still closed, so I'll have to go a different route going down. Gonna need to take some air out of these tires. Get over how loud that hub is. That creaking noise you hear, that's the seat. So far I like the way it handles. It's taking the turns really well. I could tell I would need to do some adjustments on the suspension. It still feels like the smaller, like braking bumps, the smaller rocks are still kind of rough. The other thing I like about 27.5 bikes, I just like how much more maneuverable they are. I feel like I can take turns faster. There's a bunch of switchbacks coming up. So far, downhill, it's been pretty fun on this bike. I'm liking the downhill. Just haven't been a huge fan of the climb with this bike, but coming down's pretty fun. It's definitely a playful bike. It wants to go, but since I'm still being careful after my broken collarbone, I'm not going too fast. So next few sections are going to be a really good test of the suspension. Yeah, I could tell I've got to make a lot of adjustments to suspension. It still feels kind of rough. So I'm really liking how this bike takes corners. This is definitely more of a downhill liking bike, so to speak. Take it kind of easy on through here. The bike is very responsive around turns, handles really well. I felt comfortable. I would definitely put this bike on a list of possible buys if it climbed better. It's the only negative I would give this bike is I did not think it was a very good climbing bike. I know it's an enduro bike, but compared to the Ibis HD4 and the Scott Ransom, both of those bikes actually climb really well.